Okay, so we just made it into downtown Singapore, sort of. We just got off of the SMRT after getting on the MRT from the airport, which was very easy. It was $2.40 per person. And Uber was definitely an option, but we also I also kind of wanted to do this because I knew it would be cheap and I knew it would be clean. And like you have heard, without question, Singapore is absolutely clean. You should actually, I should have taken a picture of it. The people, the way that they queue up on the escalator, they're ferociously appropriate. Like everyone who's standing is on the left side, and there's tons of space on the right side for anyone to pass. And the only time there's someone on the right is when they're not from here. It's painfully obvious. So it's really beautiful. There's a lake about there. We're actually fairly close to our condo. I don't know exactly where it is, although I think it could be potentially that thing, because we are on Beach Road and we are at Golden Mile something. So we'll go find that and we'll check in and we'll let you know. Do you guys ever remember that movie, Craigslist Joe, right, where he did all this stuff with Craig? I'm kind of bummed that no one's done, I wouldn't be me, but I'm bummed that no one's done a, like, Airbnb Andy or something like that, and they've gone from Airbnbs to Airbnbs. That'd be kind of a cool way to travel around. You know, the only downside to the Airbnb experience that we've had thus far is that we haven't really stayed in a place long enough to be able to interface with, get to know the locals and get to know their city. And I really would have loved to have done that, especially with Hui and Tu. And I apologize, Tu, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but I believe Hui is Hui, H-E-Y, and then T-H-U is Tu, hopefully. So anyway, so we're gonna check out Singapore and more later. Ciao. Okay, so I'm not gonna be too loud. In fact, I'm gonna open one ear so I know whether I'm speaking loudly or not. So we're inside the Singapore Flyer. It's very similar to the thing in London or the thing in Las Vegas. It's 33 Singapore dollars per person, so 66 Singapore dollars, which is about 45 US dollars. It's totally touristy, but here's what's awesome. Like, literally after being here and doing the tourist thing for like 2-3 hours, Gracie got to reconnect with one of her best girlfriends from high school, right? Junior high and high school. She hasn't seen her since 2004. So they like reconnected, and you know, they're giggling and stuff, you know, like little spoon girls and everything. But it was awesome, and yes, I judged that. But here's the funny part about it: is immediately when I saw her and her girlfriend acting like that, I immediately reflected on me and my buddy Eddie. And she was with us when Eddie and I saw each other. I'm 48, Eddie's 62. Actually 61, 62 in 1 week. He and I, she goes, yeah, when you guys were together, you were like 20-year-olds, you know? Throwing our testosterone all over the place, making sure other people knew who exactly we were, that we were loud Americans. Anyway, so I'll just do a little bit of footage up here. I maybe do like time-lapse thing, I don't know. The views are spectacular, as you might guess. So anyway, I'll just put this on and maybe throw some music on in the background. If you've never seen how these are constructed, they're spectacular. And if you don't know, the way that it sort of starts is they have the center of the Ferris wheel, and then they basically hang this entire truss through the middle of it, or rather from the radius, from the center out to one of the edges. And it's similar to like sort of the construction of that, but it's all the way from there up to there. Meaning it's got cross beams, and so it's completely rigid. And then from there, they put like, you know, the ropes, if you will, the cables around it. And then they construct the entire thing, you know, piece by piece by piece. They go around. I mean, yes, it's a circle, but at the end of the day, there's a finite number of pieces. So maybe this is, I mean, technically this probably has like, you know, 500 sides, for example. They put all those together with all the ropes and everything, and then they take the trusses out of the center, and then, or from the center to the edge. And so therefore then you have the entire circumference installed, and you have the circumference basically being supported by all of the cables based on tension. So it's pretty spectacular. The motors that run have 100% redundancy, which is something I'm a huge fan of. So they only need 1/2 of them to turn this entire thing. And additionally, because it turns so freely, each of the individual motors actually can be turned by hand, which I thought was sort of interesting. I believe they have two types of power that are here, and if you can see the slots, then basically there are fingers that fit into those slots that then power this actual pod that we're in. This probably is 483 phase. And then I'm gonna go with this one being, this in front of the thing, looks like very similar. So it's probably two 208s. So that's the electrical engineering perspective of it. And that's crazy. Crazy. I know what I'm gonna do. Definitely spectacular. If you guys get a chance, I would recommend doing it. What time is it now? It's about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So this is, I'm gonna go with another half hour at least, sunset. I can't remember when sunset is here. I mean, we're so close to the equator, you would think 12 hours a day, like 12 hours a day. So one would guess 6 in the morning till 6 at night. Maybe it's 6:30 in the morning till 6:30 at night. Guess I'll check it. Maybe I'll Google it. It's a really neat experience. In fact, it's infinitely better than the one in Las Vegas. Maybe just because I'm used to Las Vegas. But I can see why people live here. It's a city that's got a maturity to it, but it also has that sort of entrepreneurial spark somehow. That I think Vietnam, or that Ho Chi Minh City and Bangkok and that sort of thing are really trying to get a hold of. I think Vietnam is killing it right now, actually, as far as putting the stuff in place for them to be wildly successful at being like a incubator for startups. Bangkok, it's still too early to tell for me, based on limited research that I've done. But they do certainly have like co-working spaces, which is kind of neat. And so that's something that I would love to check out more. You know, it's interesting, right? The majority of the time that we've spent just cruising around, I've said, man, we gotta come back here, we gotta come back here. So it's, that's kind of cool. Actually, I don't know if you can see that, but the lights and that sort of things just came on. So that tells me that sunset is going to go down probably about a half an hour. And so what's cool about that is from our condo, you can see over here. And so it'll be neat to take a picture from the balcony of this and get a different perspective. It's really, if I take a picture of the Mission Bay Sands right now, it's like just a silhouette of the thing that looks like a giant penis. So I'm just like, whatever. Because if you want one of those, I can just send it. Okay. The neat thing will be from the balcony, seeing the skyline basically from our balcony through the flyer, past Mission Bay Sands to the Singapore skyline. And the other thing, in the distance is the port. And I can tell you, there's got to be 100 cranes over there for. And another thing, I wanted to actually rebuttal to my. Oh my God, I don't see any real cranes. They're not building a whole lot. Every piece of real estate's been taken out. False. When we were at the top, I looked out over the skyline, and in the distance, as you might guess, right, where there's still real estate, plenty of cranes, plenty of cranes, plenty of cranes, and even downtown skyline, past the Citibank building. I think it is on the other side, another bank building, HSBC or something like that. Between sort of here and the port, there's another large building going up. So Singapore's expanding like crazy too. I got to tell you, from my perspective, pretty much every place I've been to in Asia is expanding. It's exciting, and I'm psyched to be a part of it. So anyway, from from 165 meters in the air on the Singapore Flyer. It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com saying, I hope you live in the dreams. If you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. Ciao. Okay, so Rockstar Engineer decided to actually Google something. Believe it or not, I just spoke it into my phone. Oh my God, how revolutionary. Sunrise at 7:10 a.m., sunset at 7:12 p.m. 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Latitude 1.3. Amazing. I'm gonna dart into 7-Eleven and get a water. Actually, no, you know what? I want to talk about the limited amount of people here. It's a Saturday, but it's January. That's the next thing I'm gonna Google that I may then share with you. Share with you my brilliance in Googling. But is the lack of humans here. And so this is, I don't know if you can totally see this, but the reason I wanted to show this is this and like about 5 or 6 other attractions have this exact same deal. Temporary closed for scheduled maintenance. That is here as well as upstairs. So the other difference between this and the Vegas one, I have not been to the London one, and I probably will never end up going to London because it's friggin' cold there, always, he said, from the perspective of Latitude 1. It's got this kick-ass rainforest underneath it. I don't know if you can see this behind me, but it's friggin' awesome. Anyway, it's like a Disney ride, right? In the sense that they plan for you waiting in line like 2 hours. So there's plenty of stimuli along the way. It's not Disney, but it's still, there's stuff there, right? So like literally we walked up there and we couldn't walk fast enough, basically. We were fine. The people in front of us, of course, were taking pictures along the way, as you might guess, as tourists do. And so they had, they were, you know, blocking the line, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We got into a pod. We were in the pod with 4, 5, 6 other people, which was great. Those things probably hold 15 or 20. And it's still so warm here. It's awesome. Oh, and that breeze feels great. I love you, Singapore. You are friggin' awesome. What's up, Rob? He'll never see this, but if you know 20 Seconds in Thailand Rob, he's totally a cool guy, and ha ha ha, 7.